Anson, you got to draft day propose situation.
Do we have that? Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, do we have it? It's on
Find
there.
that draft bell for me. But
Yep.
Detroit Lions fans, just imagine it's day one, NFL draft. Your Detroit Lions haven't made the big splash in free agency. They haven't traded for Myles Garrett. They haven't even gotten your boy from the Raiders. But all of a sudden, somebody walks up to the stage. The commissioner, Roger Goodell, says, we have a trade. The Pittsburgh Steelers have traded the number 20. There it is, Bray. Thank you. The number 21 overall pick to the Detroit Lions for the number 28 pick. And Hendon Hooker, and with that number 21, the Detroit Lions select defensive tackle Derek Harmon. Where do you guys feel? Listen, you guys know. There it is. Chat, I want to hear how you guys feel. Get those super chats in. Remember, you're going to get yourself a Braylon Edwards signed autograph rookie card if you come in with the most today, and we got that month-long competition. I want to see the super chats. Are you for or against this trade? Maybe even Petey can put a poll up. Gentlemen, how do you feel about this deal?
I'll go first. I'm up for anything that the Lions think they want to do. If Brad Holmes' guy is in the top 15.
Oh, the fans have folded you? What
do I mean by that? No, on draft. Okay. Strictly draft. He sucks at free agents. Strictly draft. All right? He owns the draft as far as I'm concerned.
Free agents.
Him and Howie Roseman own the draft.
Yeah.
And Brett Veach in Kansas City. 3 great drafters. But if Brad Holmes' guy is there at 15 to 21, I'll just say 21. If his guy's there at 21 and the Steelers are there, I would definitely make that call. And if I have to sweeten it with another pick later, maybe next year, a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick, I'd sweeten it to go get the guy he believes will put the Lions over the hump on that right side of the defensive line.
Pete, I'm going to let you go. Go ahead. What you got?
Oh, hang on. I was doing the poll. Can you
in that case, I'll do it. Look, for me, I like it. I like what Matt said. If it's Brad Holmes' guy, they've shown us time and time again when they go and get their guys, whether it's Sam Laporta, whether it's Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs, most notably, they went up to pick 12. It tends to work. So, yeah, I agree with Matt. If there's a guy there that they believe can turn the tide for this defensive line, then I'm all for it. But I want it to be defensive line. I don't want to be tricked. I don't want to move up and all of a sudden it's a receiver, or they move up and, it's an offensive line. I want an offensive line. I think they got to get offensive line. But defensive line, I think, is the biggest concern. I am now at the point with the Lions where, look, Brad Holmes put a great team together this year. There were a lot of injuries this year. You expect all these guys to come back. Fine. You've done your job of adding depth, and your offense is still your offense. So you know what? I'm good with that because this is where they do well, and it's in the draft. If there's a situation there, I don't mind getting rid of Hendon Hooker and moving up to 21, but no further. I told it the other day. I said maybe 12. I don't even want to go that far because the assets that you would have to give up, the cap space, the money that you would have to give up to give 12 or 11 is a lot. 21, much like last year we went to 22, I think it's a safe spot.
Chat seems to like it. 75% yes.
Broder says they have to throw in Roman Wilson.
Oh, God.
Shout out to Broder.
I wouldn't hate that trade either. Now, let me ask you guys.
Bring him back home.
Because we've gone back and forth. You guys know that I've been a fan of the Hendon Hooker move. I've heard a lot of people not happy with it. And the fact that we brought on Teddy Bridgewater and gave him a snap really might have dented the value of a Hendon Hooker. To me, I think that jumping from 28 to 21 would require a 3rd-round pick. Does that sound right?
It could.
Would it require more?
I see what you're saying. So no player. Keep the player.
No, I'm saying, does that, if that trade happened, does that define Hendon Hooker as still having 3rd-round value?
I see what you're saying. I think so.
I think so too.
And you're
looking Mason Rudolph is the
Nose
number
Ranger.
one
Well, Aaron
quarterback
Rodgers
in
is gonna be
Pittsburgh
there.
right now.
Aaron Rodgers will be there.
Sure, but Pittsburgh knows what Aaron Rodgers brings, and that could be the destruction of Mike Tomizzo
Well, I was
Tomlin.
just about to say,
right?
Where are you with Aaron? All right, so now that we have more information, Maz, I'm glad you brought it up. Here we go. Aaron
He
Rodgers.
still has the signs.
100%. Now he goes to Pittsburgh after many say that the Viking situation was over. He goes to Pittsburgh, leaves without signing, did not sign a deal, and now it seems as if it's come out from his camp that he doesn't believe that they have a culture there, an offensive culture. Like that's what. So now it appears that he's going to do what Maz said in one regard: wait through spring, wait through the draft, and really see what's going on with the job on the West Coast.
I want to show you this play. Pete, I want to play this cut. Najee Harris. I'm going to give you a minute to go bring that up.
Yep.
Najee Harris
You got it,
left
buddy.
the Steelers. Now, he never really became that number one guy that we all thought he was going to be. So now he's with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh, and I believe that he is going to probably be top 10 running back this year, at least in fantasy. I can tell you that. But here's Najee Harris talking about his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was just a team where, we lost Ben, we lost a lot of the O-line. We just didn't know anything on offense, really. We didn't have identity. We had a young guy coming at quarterback. I was young, the team was young, and I really didn't have nobody to almost learn from the offensive side. I think the veteran guy on that team was like a 2-3 year vet, and that's really nothing. You know what I mean? Like he's still learning himself, and I'm coming in and I'm just trying to look for people to pick their brain off of, and it was just defensive guys. So I'll go to the defensive guys to talk to them, but it wouldn't be too much they could tell me about an offensive thing. You know what I mean? So. Through my years, I learned a lot that, only I learned.
Outside of missing a couple games, and not being there for the team, Najee Harris is a running back. He's absolutely correct. Najee Harris, when they provided him with offensive line early on in the career, it seemed like he had some success. They never paid any offensive linemen. They never brought in that tackle that really can help out the quarterback and protect his blind side, or a pulling guard to help Najee Harris out. They've been very negligent on the offensive side of the ball.
First time they're paying a wide receiver is
And
now.
look how much they're
Metcalf.
paying DK Metcalf,
Yeah.
who doesn't deserve that. I'm talking about from them.
Yeah.
I'm saying like to what they
It's
need.
odd.
DK Metcalf, fine, $30 million in
Yeah.
this market, fine. But I'm talking about what they need. It's
Yeah.
not another $30 million receiver because Pickens will end up being one.
But Pickens
The
is a-
offensive
is a-
side
he's
of
a-
the
he's a-
ball,
he's a
they
crack-
neglect.
he's a
Defenses,
crackpot.
you said what? True, but I'm
Pickens
just
is a
talking about the
crackpot.
talent. Look,
Yeah.
on the defensive side of the ball, they do it right. Cameron Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick, the list goes on, and players that they've had over the years. But offense, they neglect. They are the reverse option of the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals put everything on offense and no defense. So, like, that's maybe why Aaron Rodgers went and did the whole 9 yards, linked up with Tomlin. Oh, it's Pittsburgh. Oh, it's the 5 Super Bowls. Yeah, where's the culture? Where's the offensive lineman? What is this going to look like? Because this isn't turf. Like, that field gets nasty when you start to get November.
I don't think that a quarterback can come in and take the Pittsburgh Steelers over the top. The team
Not
that they
even
had
Rodgers?
last year and the team that they have this year. Well, no, honestly, what I've seen out of Rodgers, I can't say that he's a whole lot better than Russell Wilson at this point in his career. So, what, an extra 5-6 touchdowns? Another, few hundred yards?
Well,
I don't
if you-
see
yeah.
the quarterback being the problem in Pittsburgh. I think that they're a good team, but they just don't have enough personnel. To make a move for a guy like Hendon Hooker that you can build around, that's still on a rookie third-round deal. That's not a lot of money, and you got him for a little bit of time.
I know, but isn't he worthless?
I've never thought Hendon Hooker was worthless.
Well, the Lions think he's worthless because they
No,
didn't use him as a
no,
backup.
just listen, one snap to Teddy Bridgewater in a playoff game does not insist that a player is worthless. It just means that he wasn't ready for that moment in their eyes.
Well,
for
there
Pittsburgh
2
to bring
years.
in a guy like that versus starting the season off with Mason Rudolph or paying $20 million to Aaron Rodgers,
He wants 30.
there you go. I think that Pittsburgh's in a much better situation to make that kind of a trade, still land a first-round player at 28, get a guy like Hendon Hooker that they can see what they have in and build around for 2 years, but then use that other $25+ million to bring in some help.
Whoa, you're talking about bringing Hendon Hooker in this trade and actually start him.
Well, who else are they going to start? Mason Rudolph?
Well, I thought you were still trying to go get them a quarterback at some point, or have them go get a quarterback.
I think that
Hendon Hooker's not.
Yeah.
If I'm the Jets, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm not ready to put myself in a situation to bring in Hendon Hooker. as a
I am
quarterback.
not willing to spend $30 million on a 1-year guy that's in his 40s.
That's cool, but
I would be willing to come
it's
in.
not either or though.
No, I'd be
It's not
willing to
Hendon
go
or
and get a
Aaron.
Danny Dimes type of deal. And obviously he's already been signed, but
Yeah.
if you can get a guy that's kind of been good but kind of been bad and struggled, but he's started some games.
Kirk Cousins.
There you go. That would be a perfect
Because
situation.
Kurt already got paid.
Yeah, but those types of deals where you can find a guy that's in the $12 million range, and then also bring in Hooker, let the two of them battle it out in camp, and you hope that the young guy takes the reins. And now you've got a quarterback for at least 2 years. That might be something, and you're not paying through the teeth to keep.
Yeah, if I'm looking at it that way, you're gonna have to add something else to the equation if you're talking about that, because I don't think
But you got $25 million that you didn't spend on Aaron Rodgers to do that.
Yeah, but then I'm bringing in a guy in Hendon Hooker who I obviously have no faith, no trust in, and his own organization, in my eyes, didn't have faith and trust in him. Now, I am agreeing on Anson's side that we make a lot of the one handoff. You make a lot. But with that being said, I'm not bringing him in thinking that he can do anything, because I haven't seen the Lions believe that he can do a thing.
Lions are going to have to throw in another draft pick,
I
whether
agree.
it be this year or next year. I'm not talking about another number 1. I'm talking about maybe a 4.
2026.
To move 6 spots, you got to do a little bit more than that. I don't think Hooker is going to get it done, although we wish he would have, because obviously they didn't believe enough in him. And I know. Guys are like, I know they love Teddy Bridgewater. He's a pro's pro. I know all of that. It just looks bad. It was a bad look for him.
Let me just throw some names out here. Sam Darnold signed. Justin Fields signed. Danny Jones. I mean, who's left out there?
I'm really not trying to solve the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation.
Sure, but it puts a demand
Yeah.
because of the lack of supply on a player like Hendon Hooker. And I just don't see any better time to capitalize on that unless this regime likes Hendon enough where they still want to keep him around.
At this point, they're stuck with him. I don't believe that he garners enough in the trade at this point. Would I do it? Sure, but I don't think anybody would do it at this particular point. I don't think there's that buzz there, much like there is in New England about Joe Milton.
Right.
Maz, can't wait to talk about this topic. The number 1 overall potential player, it's a different day and age now. When I was coming out, I didn't have the social media to tell you
That's
who
right.
to draft. Nowadays, you can tell who to draft and why you believe that, Maz.
That's right. Penn State's all pro. I'm going to put him as an all pro already. All American, Abdul Carter.
Yeah, he's consensus All-American.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, he went out on X today and he says, listen, the best player goes number 1. That's his quote. And it doesn't have to be a quarterback, he says. The best player
I agree with
goes number 1. What do you think about that one? Does Abdul Carter, with his injury, with the stress fractures,
He's fine.
does he go number 1? Or is it a quarterback?
But don't even say the stress fracture. Just say Abdul Carter, because his foot is fine. You answer that.
If Tennessee holds a pick, it'll be a quarterback. If they trade the pick, I could see it being Carter. There's a perception of a large fall off after Cam. Some people are in on Shador. Some people are out. This Jackson Dart kid is now starting to get mocked in the top 10. There's a lot of stupid teams and a lot of stupid owners and a lot of stupid GMs in this league. And everyone is so desperate to get in on that rookie quarterback pay scale that I just don't see these teams getting away from a quarterback at number 1 right now.
Hey, Pete, put up that quote again, if you still have it.
Yeah, hang on, buddy.
Because the chat, Prop Do says, that font shows character issues.
Right. No,
That's what Ricky said.
what man changes the
Yeah.
font on his X account?
Read that font. Read that whole thing there, Anson.
Oh my God.
How do you do that?
Right.
Oh, number 1 overall pick, 30 days away. Don't let all this QB need talk fool y'all. It's already known who's the best, and no QB is in that discussion.
like a
Like I
ransom
said,
note.
Here.
the best player goes number 1. I'd like to think that that's the way that it is,
No.
but it's not because,
Then
again,
he writes
Listen,
generational.
listen.
He writes generational, remember.
Right.
Generational.
That's a sassy font.
What I would say about this is it's given 2025. That's exactly what it's given. Look, I tell you this. To his comment about the best players go number 1 overall, no, they don't. The team that has the pick based on what they need, is what the number one pick is. And typically, usually, it's a quarterback. That's typically the position people at the number one spot. Either they got there because they were the worst team in the league and they need a quarterback, or they got there because they traded up, much like the Bears did, to get the number one overall pick. So he's wrong in that regard. The number one player doesn't get taken. It's the team that needs it, and usually it's a quarterback.
Jamarcus
But
Russell.
Here's the deal. I think he's a phenomenal talent. And I don't say that just because he's Big Ten. I think he is the best defensive player in this draft. And I think he is. I think him and Travis Hunter, because Travis Hunter and what he can do, you're talking about talent, I think he's the best player. Abdul Carter right there. But here's the defensive ends or the rush ends that have been drafted number one overall because they were that generational talent, because we picked them, because they were the best player in the draft and what they've done. Remember 2022 when we had the number 2 pick?
Of course I do.
Well, who went number 1 overall?
Trayvon Walker.
Was he the best player in the draft?
He's on the trade block.
When you look back at it, he was a defensive player. We
Yep.
want to bring him in. He's going to be the guy to get to the quarterback. Yeah, apparently didn't do that too well. Myles Garrett.
He was.
There you go. I give you that one. Jadeveon Clowney.
He had a pretty darn good career.
Okay career.
Career.
Nowhere where he went did he affect his team.
Correct.
And Myles Garrett, to that point, since you want to go back to Myles Garrett, he went number 1 overall. He deserves to be number 1 overall. But Maz, what has his team done?
Nothing.
And they've now paid him a ton of money.
He's still around.
And guess what? And they still suck.
Yeah, he's still around too.
So he's right in the sense that he could be the best player in this draft, but it's not about that. It's about what teams need. And you're talking to Tennessee Titans. They cannot afford to be in this division, to be in this NFL, have the number 1 pick, and not take a quarterback. If it's not Cam Ward, then it's just not Cam Ward. But you had to take Cam Ward this year. You got to take Cam Ward this year because your team needs a quarterback.
And
so,
I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Christmas break, I went home to Jersey to see my family. And I took Lily to see her first New York Giants game at MetLife Stadium. We were there. We had great seats for cheap. And the Giants, all they had to do was lose to have the number 1 pick. Well, Drew Lock threw 4 touchdowns, ran another one in.
I remember that game.
And they beat the Colts. Colts needed to win to get in the playoffs. I have a chance to get in the playoffs. So the Giants, who are quarterback desperate, and they let Danny Dimes walk. So they're still quarterback desperate.